Hello everyone, it's Lottie from Cancer is a Lifestyle, and today I wanted to talk about neighbors. So I am one of those really corny people that I actually do um, welcome new neighbors into the neighborhood or into the building. I will knock on their door, I will introduce myself, um, come Christmas or any other holiday, or, uh, you know, I will give them a Christmas card, or, um, bake them some cookies and share with them, or, things like that. Especially if it's a single mom and there's children involved, I will be knocking on your door, and I will be, sharing treats with the kids and anything. Anytime my daughter bakes anything, um, you know, I will make sure to include the children especially. I have a huge heart for single moms, especially because I have been one for many years. And yeah, so I have a huge heart for single moms. And so I am that type of a neighbor. Um, Back in 2011, we actually moved out of our home, and we ended up becoming renters. And, mind you, we have not been renters, I think. I mean, I haven't been a renter since my early 20s, and, um, but, there's being such a huge gap. Um, our very first home up in the apartment was actually really nice, and we had some really nice neighbors, and everyone got along and everyone respected each other. And I think that's the whole point of being a good neighbor, is that we respected each other, and everyone got along. Everyone had, even where we parked, everyone respected the fact that this is where Fred liked to park, so we would leave it open for him, and we would park right here. And everyone respected that, and it was really wonderful for our first several years. And then we would have someone move in. Someone would move in and disrupt the whole atmosphere. And they would not be a pleasant person. They would not care. They just didn't show respect. And and then I noticed they would move out and somebody else would move in, and then again it'd be harmony and all. And I noticed that there seems to be like a pattern. Now we've been renting now, like I said, since 2011, and in that time I think we've had maybe two or three bad neighbors. Seriously, it's not been bad at all. It's only been not even 10 years, and that's not bad considering that we've always lived in apartment units that were like 8 units, or like this one has 6. And and then we would have such good neighbors. And right now, like I said, we would notice that there'd be like this pattern. There would be have a good neighbor, then a bad neighbor, then a good neighbor, and then a bad neighbor. And the bad neighbors would be kind of short, because you cannot live with people like that. They don't last very long. And I real quickly learned a few things. That one, people move quite a lot, you guys. People move a lot. Like within, as soon as their lease would be up, they'd be moving somewhere else. We are not those people. We like to stay. I think the last place we stayed 6 years. This right now is our in-between home, and which we're going on 3 years right here. Well, anyway, right now we are right smack in the middle of a bad neighbor. And actually, this is a first. We've never had two. And so we have one upstairs and one below us. And we are right smack in the middle between these two neighbors, who just disrespectful, not good neighbors at all. And I mean like neighbors from hell. How's that? Like, 2 o'clock in the morning and they're vacuuming. Like last night, I don't know what was going on. But very disruptive. Not, I mean, just, I don't even want to share. I don't want this vlog to be that I'm bashing people, but it was not. So right now we're going through this bad neighbor experience, where we have a bad one upstairs and a bad one downstairs. And I was thinking earlier that this reminded me of a story that my mom used to tell us when I was a little girl. She would read to us, and it's a Polish story about these two friends, two guys that lived above each other and below, one above and one below. And their name was Gavel and Pavel. And they made their lives miserable. Like when one would act up and do something mean to the one below would exact revenge to the one upstairs. And this is what kind of like reminds me of with my neighbors. Like when one acts up, then the other one is quiet. When the other one is quiet, then the other one acts up. So right now, I know I'm laughing and all, but it's very frustrating when you have a bad neighbor. It's really, really frustrating. And to the point where I almost thought to myself that, I'm going to change how I am because of my this experience this time around, where there's two of them. And I was telling my daughter that, I don't even want to say hello to any more people when they move in. I don't want to be the person who knows all her neighbors, which I do. I am aware of all my neighbors. I know the one across the street. I know the one, down the block. I like knowing who lives around me. I like knowing the people and being part of their life and them being a part of mine. I like saying good morning to them and all of that. But I was thinking to myself that maybe I need to just stop doing that because what you don't know doesn't hurt you, right? and or maybe I wouldn't care so much if for what they were doing. I don't know, but I'm really beginning to think negatively that maybe I need to stop being this really friendly neighbor and all, and just not talk to anybody. And of course I know that that is the wrong thing to do. I don't want to change the way I am. So I thought I would come on, and I thought we could encourage one another with some, excuse me, some great stories about your neighbors. Because I know that there are a lot of great neighbors out there that, have done wonderful things for us or for each other or for any of us here. And I thought maybe we could encourage one another if maybe you have a bad neighbor that is, pushing all your buttons, and you're just trying to stay sane because you don't want to, resort to their tactics. You want to be above all that. And in my experience with them, even though I have not had that many, that they don't really last very long. It's not like I've ever lived next door to someone for 6 years that was just a horrible neighbor. They don't last very long. They move on because they don't get along with people, and usually landlords just, hoist them out. They're not good to anybody. But the one downstairs is going on 2 years. This is about the longest I've ever been with any bad neighbor. So I thought we would encourage each other and tell each other stories of good times with good neighbors. Like for instance, when my children were toddlers, and mind you, my youngest is 30 years old now, so this tells you how many years that's been already. I've lived next to a woman that we are good friends to this day. We've, who's been a great friend to me, who's, been just a huge positive influence in my life. And I love her dearly to this day. We're still good friends. And so I know there can be, there are great neighbors out there. I have a neighbor that I'm going to tell you another story that during my one of my cancer bouts, my car was acting up, and I ended up being without a vehicle. And they actually lended me their old car that was sitting in the garage, and to use to go to my treatments back and forth without anything. All I had to do was put gas in it. They wouldn't charge me for it. They paid for the insurance. They were so nice to me about that. That is amazing. What a blessing. So I know there's a lot of good neighbors out there. So that's what I kind of want. I want every one of you to tell me a good neighbor story to encourage me. So when I am feeling frustrated because, they're acting up and they're being disrespectful, and to everyone in the building and to us or whatever, and we have to live with one another. This will be an encouragement to me. So please leave your stories in the comments below. And please don't bash or name calling or anything like that. I don't want that, because that's exactly, we don't want to resort to that, to their level, but we do want to encourage each other and say all good things about the good neighbors we've had in our life. So please comment below. I would love to hear your story. Encourage me. Encourage me not to be indifferent. I don't want to be indifferent to the people around me. I really like being sociable. I like, you know, I like doing little things for my neighbors, especially the single moms. I really have a heart for them, and I wouldn't want to stop doing things just because I've had so many bad experiences. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please comment below. Bye-bye.